Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have a promising rack. It looks close to a bingo. I can't see a 7. There may be an 8. But if I don't have a bingo, I've got a good scoring tile in the W. A play of growl or wog should sort the rack out. 18 for my opponent. And I've got a few floaters to consider. I've got the over prefix. Can't see anything there. Can't see anything through the I. Or the C or the E. So I can't see a bingo. I'm now looking to play off my W, and Vice doesn't take any of my tiles after it, and V and C take nothing before or after it that I've got, so my scoring options are limited. But certainly I can do better than change. I'm wondering if I can get my W on one of these triple letter squares. I want to leave a good vowel consonant balance as well. So what about playing U? It doesn't give very much away, and the rack leave is balanced. 14 points. Quite good. Again, it looks close to a bingo. I'm looking at in the central column for an ing word. Repolling, polaring, not good. So I can't see anything through that I or the V. Well, the I's been blocked in any event. The B doesn't look helpful. U takes an E in front for future reference. And I might consider using that straight away. CH takes an O in front. So I could play Go L across here, keeping PRN. Am I missing a bingo? U takes nothing after it, so Go L has the advantage of tightening the board up. $25 points, pretty good. What else is there? There's Ogle across row H. 23 points. I'm slightly concerned about tightening the board up since I'm behind. And also the rack leave after Ogle of PNR or after Goel is just not great. It would be much better to play a word like long. B-long is available, but that's too risky because it takes an S. What about plays down here? I could play wrong, keeping ELPR. Only 15 points. Now, is there something better than belong? Not that I can see. What about through the V? Well, that's just not going to score enough. Now, what about a play with the P rather than the G over the I? So P-O-E. Nope, can't see anything there. So I'm going to go with Goel. 25. Fantastic. I draw a blank. I've got Panzers, which plays in column 12 and also column 13. GI takes nothing in front of it. U takes nothing after it. So my bingos could easily be blocked. But this is still a nice rack. I could play Res in column 11. 29 points. Great. Not only is my are my bingos not blocked, but new lanes have been created. Now, Begrim may not be good, but I think Begrime is, so I think I'm going to leave that on. It didn't score very much. And play Panzers down here. Begrim may be good, I'm just not sure of it. Panzers 117. Not great, but I have a couple of vowels to go with my scoring tiles, so hopefully I can score my way through the next 2 or 3 moves. Nowhere obviously great on the board at the moment for the J or the X. Goal has really clogged up the top of the board, apart from column 12. Great, my opponent challenges, he loses 5 points. I've now got a 100-point lead. I'm just wondering if I can stick either of my scoring big scoring tiles on this triple letter square, and I don't think I can. Now, what about a play in column 14? Coming down onto the S with my J or X here. No, can't see anything there. It would be good to play Vex to get rid of the V. And I've also got Vexed on my rack. 34 points for my opponent. Pretty good score for him. So I could play Vex here. Not good because AX takes an E after it. I could play Jived through this I, which is quite good because I've got 3 tiles I want to get rid of, J, V and X, and it would be good to play off the V with either the J or the X straight away. Now, do I have anything placing a high tile on this double letter square and then getting doubled? 15 minutes on my clock, 58 tiles left. Well, I've got the Jovi beginning, but that doesn't go anywhere. I've got the Oid ending. That's no good. Way takes a T in front, that doesn't help me. I'm just looking around the board for places I haven't considered. So at the moment, the best I've seen is Jived. And I think I'll go with this. It's slightly dangerous in that my opponent could bingo in column 15. But he can't get a high-scoring tile on this double letter square, so it's not too risky for non-bingos. And the rack leaves pretty good. I note for future reference that I can stick an I between the J and the Z. I don't think it's worth holding back the D. That would just allow my opponent to place a D, R and S there and get a very good score for a non-bingo. Pretty good. I've got Toxin on my rack. And therefore through an N and an I would have Anti-Toxin. Ah, 80 points for my opponent. Nice play by him. I'm now only 15 points ahead. But look at this. I've got Zai down here for an immediate comeback of 52 points. And the rack leaves okay. It could mature into a bingo straight away. Although it's slightly vulnerable. Pretty good. I don't think there's a 7 here. But it looks close. I don't have any scoring tiles, so I may struggle to score. And my opponent's provided nothing and scored well. I'm 30 points up. And I haven't got an A for going between the J and the Z anymore. Now, are there any floaters I haven't considered? I don't think there are any floaters at all on this board right now. But I'm ahead, so that's not a bad thing. Now, do I have a play across here? My O can go after the M. Well, how annoying. I don't think I do. My A can also go there. So I have main. It doesn't play off my T. And the Rackley is pretty ropey. 24 points, quite good on this board. Yeah, I think that's quite nice because although my rack leave is poor, this board is now super tight, so my opponent's going to struggle to score. He may bingo in row N, but apart from that, there's just nothing. I'm just wondering if I should be playing in row N in that bingo lane. If I did so, I would only be creating a new bingo lane, and I'd be providing access to these double letter squares, so I think this is a better play. Still no scoring tiles and no bingo, so I'm in a vulnerable position in that if my opponent can score, then I'm not able to come back. And he is able to score. Wow. 35 points. Nice play by my opponent. He's played choke, and he's also choked the board up somewhat. I'm 19 points in front. There's very little going on this board. Now, Och takes an E after it, so which I don't have. So row J is available for getting some score, because if you could place an E there, you would get these 3, 4, and 4 from CH and W. Car takes an O in front. So I've got that for 15. Can I do any better than that? It would be nice to stick a tile in front of this H as well, either an O or an A. I can't do that with a T here. I haven't got anything else which can go there. I'm retaining an A to go in front of top, but there's a ton of A still to come, so I could regret this. But if my opponent does play in row L, he'll be creating further opportunities. Great, I have goatees. Nowhere for that on this board. And I have an E for going after Och. I'm just wondering if goatees has an anagram. No H's to come for going after C, so this isn't, row O isn't dangerous, bottom left. Goatees doesn't play over in row L. If Goatees has an anagram, it may play in row L. But I can't think of an anagram, so I think maybe it is just Goatees. If there were a floating T, I would have Goateest. I've got a 34-point lead on a pretty tight board. Now, Arty could extend choke to artichoke. I don't quite have that, I'm missing the R. 36 points for that. This is a micro hotspot, column 11, coming down from the R. A 2-tile play there would open up nothing for my opponent. Just wondering if I've got such a play. And my A would have to go in front of the G. No, I don't. And although Vice does take a D and an S after it, I don't think there are any words which can be played in column 11 to take advantage of that. I'm wondering if there are any plays in row H which front extend Vice by 6 letters. Can't think of any. But this is a super tight board, so any available option could be really valuable. Certainly if my opponent were to change now, I would be in a tricky spot. I guess I could play down from the V. But what do I have? Place making EW. Slightly reluctant to play my E because only 3 to come. But this is quite a hot spot. So I could play Tew, TEW. 15 points. Well, that's not great because then I'd be opening up row K. And while I'm ahead, I'm happy for the board to remain tight. My opponent's taking a while. He may simply be struggling with a tight board, or he may have the blank and be about to play a bingo. The remaining tiles do look pretty bingo-y. All of the high-scoring tiles, really high-scoring tiles, have been played. Ochre doesn't take anything in front that I've got, so a play in row L would have to end with an A, or an S. Ah, so I've got goatees and stop. Gosh, okay. I saw the A front hook for top and didn't see the S, so I've actually got a playable bingo. But it may be blocked. A simple play down, a 4-letter play down from the V would kill that. 13 minutes on my opponent's clock, 10 minutes on mine. Well, I wonder if I had considered the S front hook for top, whether I would have played TO last go. Still one S and a blank to come. And my opponent may think that I have an S or a blank and that I was setting myself up for OL. I wasn't. But I do now have a playable bingo in that spot. I've seen Goatiest as an 8-letter play with this rack. I suspect there are others, but I haven't seen any others or thought of any floaters which would give me a bingo. That's partly because there are absolutely none on this board at the moment. And I think it'll be easier once my opponent has played to see what is available rather than going through the alphabet now. Yeah, just looking down here, not too many scoring tiles to come. There's the B, 2 Fs, an M, a P and a Y. I should be able to leave myself with a decent rack leave, even if I can't bingo. The problem will be that I'm going to struggle to score if I can't bingo. "11 minutes on my opponent's clock, 34 tiles to come, so neither of us in time trouble. Column 11 is available for a play to be doubled, but with no scoring tiles on my rack, I'm not going to score well up there, and I'll be providing floaters for my opponent. But it is a way of... it is a spot that I can play in if my bingo is blocked. So I could just play goal down here for 10 points. G and O not massively dangerous. Let me consider the vowel constant situation. 18 vowels left out of 41 tiles. So, pretty even balance of vowels and consonants. Nothing to worry about there. It's possible goatees isn't good. I've got a feeling it came in with the most recent update. I think it's just an alternative spelling of goatee which ends 2 E's. Now, my opponents have spent 4 or 5 minutes on this move. Wow. That's the reason he did have a bingo. 73 points, he now takes a lead. But he's provided floaters. Do I have a bingo? Can I come back? So there is nowhere for goatees. What about the M? Can't see anything through that. Nothing through any vowels. What about the L? Not good. And it's now me who's behind. I'm 40 points behind. No blanks to come. Not a good spot to be in. And if either I or my opponent plays parallel to me lids, we kill the board. Well, maybe 2 wasn't such a great play. Well, I certainly now do want to open the board. The problem with playing goal here is that I'm keeping an even number of vowels and consonants. And there are only 3 floating consonants, G, M and L. But I think that's okay, because if I draw one of the 4 ends, I'll have an ing word. So, and EIST, aside from any floaters, is a pretty good rack leave. Only 2 E's and 2 I's to come, so I'm not going to be massively unbalanced in all likelihood. Not great. The F and the U, non-bingo-y tiles. I don't think feudist is good. Although it could be. Nowhere for it. Fuddiest would be good through a D, 1D to come. I'm now 29 points behind. I can play Fud in column 12 parallel to goal. And then I'm killing the board, and I need to keep bingo lanes open. Still 24 tiles to come. I certainly do want to play off the F and the U. I'm not too bothered about score, but I don't want to block the board. So I could play Fud, only 7 points, but then DEIST is a really good 5-letter rack leave. Ah, I have Fudgiest. Wow, I do have a bingo. I have Fudgiest. Now, hopefully my opponent is going to regard me lids as providing more dangerous floaters than goal. So if he plays some... Okay, that's fine, because Fudgiest remains available. He only gets 24 points. I was hoping that he'd play parallel to me lids, killing the board, and then Fudgiest would give me a lead. That hasn't happened. But bingo lanes in columns 2 and 4 aren't particularly... Well, I say they're not particularly dangerous. What I mean is that if my opponent plays neither of those lanes, he will be providing plenty of opportunities for parallel plays. So let me get Fudgiest down. This is going to score quite well. Fudgiest 86. Nice play by my opponent with Punani. Now, I draw a lot of vowels. I have rearouse through an R. No R's available. Looking at the vowel situation, 6 vowels out of 18 unseen tiles, so slightly consonant heavy. I have no tiles which score more than 1 point, which is disappointing since I've got such a slender lead. Still a Y, F and B to come. Well, the Y looks quite useful for this U. Nice play by my opponent, sorting out his rack. My opponent has now drawn absolutely level. There's only 1 tile left which scores more than 2 points. So what to do? I have 7 minutes left and there are 7 tiles in the bag. The Y going in front of the U is no longer a danger. I don't have a bingo with this rack. Only the L and F to consider as floaters. I'm pretty sure there's no 7-letter bingo here. So, what to do? Remaining tile. I could have another bingo in this game if I just jettison some of my vowels, which I can do in theory. I've got EAU and AUE, which would leave rows, which in a constant heavy bag is a pretty good rack leave. And if I could play EOU somewhere, I would have an even better one with seer. I'm just wondering if I have anything down from the M, because that would help me get a good score as well. And what about across through this N of Punani? Six minutes on my clock. Dead level in score. Tricky situation. So I could play AUE next to the F of Fudgius. That's not going to score very much. Aha. Yeah, this is good. O's, 19 points is a decent score, and I'm retaining the rack leave. Well, the second best rack leave, Rose. Rays would have been slightly better, I think. And I'm not really killing any bingo lanes. There's not many bingos ending F and A. The really good bingo lanes on this board are rows C and E for 7-letter plays, and columns 2 and 4 for 7-letter plays. And there's going to be a ton of 7-letter bingos with this rack leave and the remaining tiles, but no guarantee of one. So let's see what happens. I have, I think, Boords. B-O-O-R-D-E-S. I think I have that. But I feel uneasy because I sort of feel that Boords is part of a pair of bingos and the other one isn't coming to mind, so I may have misremembered that. Nothing else is coming to mind, but Boords is in my mind, and that plays in row E. It also plays in column 4. I have a 20-point lead. If that's blocked, or if I wimp out of playing it, I do have... Wow, I have all the tiles which score more than 1 point. Look at these remaining tiles. Very unusual to have just 1 pointers left. My opponent could actually have a bingo with these tiles. Or, if he doesn't, he could struggle to score. But I think I have Boords. I don't think Bruised is good. I don't think Broods ending ES is good. Or Booders or Doobers. But I have some doubt about Boords. So, what about the floating L? Can't see anything through that. I have Drib in row O for 30 points. And if my opponent doesn't bingo, he's really going to struggle to score. So, okay, he's got 24 points. The bag is empty. I can see what he's got. I don't think he's got a bingo with what he has. I've still got Boords in column 4. A couple of other... 3 other floaters to consider, or 4. I don't think the O is helpful, though. I'm just wondering about a bingo which I'm more sure of. I'm 5 points behind at the moment. It's possible I could phony and still win. Can't see anything with the T. I'm going with Boords. Oh, it doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. I'm just imagining it without the S. Okay, I am going to try this, but I don't feel great about it. My opponent has to challenge or the game is ended. Wow, great. It is good. And that secures the win. Fantastic. So, final score, 394 to my opponent, 488 to me. A winning margin of 94 points. So, very exciting game. Let's see what I missed. So pleased about boards. Now, this was the opening rack for my opponent. He played Vice. This was my rack. Nothing great on offer here at all. I played U for 14. That looks fine. My opponent's rack, he plays Herb. Now, did I miss a bingo here? I didn't. Olp H12. Keeping GNR and scoring 26 points. That may have been better than Goel, but Goel has the advantage of tightness. Nothing available for my opponent. Now, my opponent's rack, that looks fairly close to a bingo. Big Grim was good, so well done to my opponent for that. And I then fortunately had Panzers for 117. My opponent plays Way. I have a very non-bingo-y rack, but a 70-point lead. I played Jived for 32. Now my opponent... this is his Solitude rack, so Mana from Heaven for him, my D. He gets the bingo down. This was my rack. And fortunately for me, I had a 52-point comeback play. My opponent plays Chi. And this is where I played Main for 24. Not a great rack leave, but nothing obviously better. Now, that looks pretty good for my opponent. Does he have a bingo? Nope. Choke pretty good, though, given the tightness of the board. This was my rack. And I played 2 for 15. And at this point, I have a 20-point lead, which is pretty slender. But 2 provides a super hot bingo lane because it allows a 7-letter play ending in S. But I have an S, and there's only one to come and one blank. So I think actually this move is okay. My opponent then is able to play Melids for 73. Nice spot. This was my rack. Nowhere for goatees. And, well, I don't recognise any of these. What did I do? I played Goal for 10. And I think that's a good play. I don't have time to look at the alternatives here to see if there's anything better. But in general, Goal is good because it's creating additional bingo lanes. And that's really helpful for me. Because if I don't open up bingo lanes in the top right, my opponent can kill the bingo lanes in the bottom left. My opponent plays Pinani, and now I was grateful to spot Fudgist. I didn't spot it at the beginning. It doesn't look a great rack, but there was a bingo there. My opponent has Fatality through a T. No T available. Actually, he has Phaolite onto an E. Well, nothing available there. Just check that. So, my opponent played Fatty 433. Pretty good, and at this point we are dead level, and I have a lot of vowels. And whoops, let's see what's recommended. I played O's for 19. Yeah, and I like that because of the rack leave. The rack leave is better than any of the rack leaves of the higher up moves, and I'm not killing bingo lanes. My opponent's rack, he plays a loft, and then finally, boards is good, and boodlers also good, playable through this L, but boards was better. So, pretty exciting game. Quite a moment of tension at the end in that I wasn't sure of boards. However, had it have been challenged off, I think it still would have been possible for me to have a shot at winning. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.